Therāpadāna. The Legends of the Theras. Citapūjaka chapter the 30th. Citapūjaka. At that time I was a Brahmin, known by the name of Ujjita. Wishing to do a sacrifice, I gathered various flowers. After seeing the burning pyre of Sikhi, kinsman of the world, gathering those flowers again, I strew them on that burning pyre. In the 31 eons since I did puja with that flower, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of Buddha puja. In the 27th aeon, hence there were 7 lords of men. They were named Supajalita, while turning kings with great strength. The 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Citapūjaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Citapūjaka Thera is finished. (292). Pupphadhāraka. I was a bark-clothed ascetic, wearing deer leather outer robes. I had 5 special knowledges. A person who could stroke the moon, seeing Vipassi, the world's torch, come to the same place as me. I bore the floral canopy over the head of the teacher. In the 91 eons since I bore that floral canopy, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of bearing flowers. In the 87th aeon, hence there was one lord of the earth, by name Samantadhara, a wheel-turning king with great strength. The 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Pupphadhāraka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Pupphadhāraka Thera is finished. (293). Chattadāyaka. My son was a renouncer then, wearing a saffron-colored robe. He had realized Buddhahood and nirvana, lamp of the world. Finding out about my own son, afterwards I went to that place. I went to the funeral pyre of the great one who'd passed away. Pressing my hands together there, I worshipped the funeral pyre, and taking a white umbrella, I raised it up there at that time. In the 94 eons since I offered that white umbrella, I've come to know no bad rebirth. The fruit of giving umbrellas. In the 25th aeon hence, there were 7 lords of people, whose names all were Maharaja, while turning monarchs with great strength. The 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Chattadāyaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Chattadāyaka Thera is finished. (294). Saddasaññaka. When the sun has not quite risen, there is still abundant brightness the arising within the world. Of the best Buddha, the great sage, I heard the sound of him there then, but I did not see that victor. When the time of my death arrived, I called to mind the Buddha's sound. In the 94 eons since I obtained that perception then, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of Buddha puja. The 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Saddasaññaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Saddasaññaka Thera is finished. (295). Gosisanikkhepa. I laid down golden sandalwood for exiting the ashram door. I now enjoy my own karma. That is the fruit of past karma. Thoroughbreds, those fast like the wind, horses from Sind, fast vehicles. I am enjoying all of that. That is the fruit of sandalwood. Oh, my deed, an ultimate deed, done well in a fine arena. None but deeds done for the monks has the slightest bit of value. In the 94 eons since I laid down that sandalwood there, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of laying down wood. In the 75th aeon, hence was a greatly powerful Will Turner who had mighty strength, whose name was Sapatihita, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Gosisanikkhepa spoke these verses. The legend of Gosisanikkhepa is finished. (296) Padapūjaka. On a Himalayan mountain, I was a Kanara back then. I saw the Buddha, stainless one, bright but cool like a rayless sun, who had approached me at that time, Vipassī Buddha, world leader, and then I rubbed upon his feet, sandalwood and also incense. In the 91 eons since, I performed puja to those feet. I've come to know no bad rebirth, the fruit of doing foot puja, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Padapūjaka spoke these verses. The legend of Padapūjaka is finished. (297) Desakittiya. Back then I was a Brahmin man, whose name was Upasālika, seeing the world's best one, man-bull, getting the world's sacrifices, plunged into the woods, the forest. I worshipped the Buddha's feet there, discerning my mental pleasure. The Buddha disappeared right there. Having come out of the forest, I called to mind the best Buddha, proclaiming that to the region, I joyed an aeon in heaven. In the 92 eons since, I proclaimed that to the region, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That is the fruit of proclaiming the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Desakittiya spoke these verses. The legend of Desakittiya is finished. (298) Saranagamaniya. On a Himalayan mountain, I was a hunter at that time. I saw the Buddha Vipassī, the world's best, the bull of men, attending on the Sambuddha. I did what's proper for elders, and then I went to the biped Lord, the neutral Buddha, for refuge. In the 91 eons since, I went for refuge at that time. I've come to know no bad rebirth, the fruit of going for refuge, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Saranagamaniya spoke these verses. The legend of Saranagamaniya is finished. (299) Ambapindīya. I was a famous Titan then, known by the name of Ramesa. I gave some mangoes as alms food to Vipassī Buddha, great sage. In the 91 eons since, I gave him those mangoes back then. I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of giving mangoes, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Ambapindīya spoke these verses. The legend of Ambapindīya is finished. (300) Anusanāsava. I saw Vipassī, the victor, wandering about for alms food. I gave an owl's measure of food to the best biped, neutral one. Happy, with pleasure in my heart, I greeted Buddha at that time. I sang the praises of Buddha, wishing for the ultimate goal. In the 91 eons since, I sang the Buddha's praises then. I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of singing praises, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Anusanāsava spoke these verses. The legend of Anusanāsava is finished. The summary: Sataka and Parachata, Sada, Gosisanikkhepa, Pada,
Padesa, Saraa.
Amba and Sasvaka too. There are 47 verses, which are counted by those who know. The Citapūjaka chapter, the 30th. Then there is the summary of chapters.
Kaikra, Atidada.
Alamban, Udakasana, Tavara and Tamana too. Kepa, Sasupadana, Pada and Citapūji. In total all the verses here. Do number 4 times 100. Plus 1 more than 50 as well. 2,500 verses all. Plus 72 more than that. 300 Apadana poems. Are counted by those who see truth. The third 100 is finished.